I thought buying this house was the best decision of my life, but the night I heard a sound behind the walls, I realized something was terribly wrong. And the worst part? The house wasn't empty when I moved in. I still remember the first day I got the keys. The air smelled old, like dust and forgotten memories that had been sitting there for years. But I loved it instantly. It was quiet, peaceful. It felt safe. It felt like mine. After years of struggling, I finally had something that belonged to me. No more landlords, no more noise from neighbors, just silence. At least, that's what I thought. The house was bigger than I expected, too big for just one person. But I convinced myself that it was perfect, a fresh start, a place where I could finally breathe. Still, something felt off. I noticed it on the second day. The hallway. It felt wrong. At first I couldn't explain it, but the more I walked through it, the more uncomfortable I became. It felt longer than it should be, like it stretched just a little more each time I passed through it. I even counted my steps. They didn't match. I laughed at myself. I told myself I was just tired. I wish that was true. That night, I was sitting in the living room, surrounded by half-open boxes, trying to distract myself with music. That's when I heard it. A soft knock. Not on the door, not on a window. Inside the wall. I froze. My entire body went still as I listened. At first, I told myself it was just pipes. Old houses make noise. Everyone knows that. But then it happened again. Knock. 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 Slow. Even deliberate. Like someone knew I was listening. My heart started beating faster. I stood up slowly and stared at the wall. "Hello?" I said quietly, almost whispering. No answer. Just silence. The kind of silence that feels heavy. I felt stupid immediately, talking to a wall like that. It made no sense, so I tried to ignore it. I went back to unpacking. But I couldn't focus. Every small sound made me jump. Every shadow felt wrong. Later that night, I checked every room in the house, every closet, every corner. Everything was empty, exactly how it should be. And yet, it didn't feel that way. I barely slept. Around 3 a.m., I woke up suddenly. My eyes opened wide, like something had pulled me out of sleep, and then I heard it again. Knock. This time, it came from upstairs. My chest tightened instantly. I didn't want to move, but I knew I couldn't just lie there. Slowly, I got out of bed and walked toward the stairs. Each step creaked loudly under my weight, louder than before, almost like the house was reacting to me or warning me. Halfway up, I stopped. The knocking came again. Closer now. Knock. Knock. It was coming from the end of the hallway. And that's when I saw it. A door. I froze. I had walked that hallway earlier, multiple times. There was no door there. I was sure of it. My hands started shaking. I didn't know it yet, but what I would find behind that door would destroy everything I thought I knew. I slowly walked toward it. The closer I got, the colder the air felt, like the house itself didn't want me there. I reached out and touched the handle, and instantly, the knocking stopped, completely. The silence felt worse, much worse. I hesitated. Something inside me screamed to walk away, but I didn't. I turned the handle. The door opened slowly, and what I saw inside made my blood run cold. The room was empty, completely empty. No furniture, no windows, nothing, just walls. But then I saw it. Scratches, deep, violent scratches covering the walls, like someone had tried to escape, like someone had been trapped inside. I stepped back, my stomach twisting, and that's when I noticed something else. The floor. It wasn't flat. It looked disturbed, like it had been opened before, and suddenly, I felt it again, that feeling that I wasn't alone. But I wasn't ready for what happened next, because just as I turned to leave, I heard a voice right behind me. Soft, weak. "Don't go." I froze. I couldn't breathe. My body refused to move. For a moment, I was sure I imagined it. I had to. Slowly, I turned around. The room was still empty. Nothing had changed. No one was there. But my heart was pounding so loud it hurt. "Hello?" I whispered. No answer. Just silence. Thick, heavy, unnatural silence. I took a step back toward the door. "This isn't real," I told myself quietly. "You're just tired, that's all." It made sense. New house, stress, no sleep. People imagine things all the time, but then, "Please." The voice came again. This time it was clearer, closer, and filled with fear. My stomach dropped instantly. That wasn't in my head. It couldn't be. I looked around the room again. Still nothing. But then I realized something. The sound wasn't coming from the walls. It was coming from below me. My eyes slowly moved down to the floor. The uneven floor. "No," I whispered, shaking my head. "No, no, no." But I couldn't stop myself. I stepped forward, slowly, carefully. I knelt down and placed my hand on the floor. It was freezing cold, colder than anything in the room. My fingers traced along the surface, and then I felt it. A gap, a thin line, a hidden seam. My hands started trembling. I pressed down gently. Nothing. Then harder. Suddenly, click. The floor shifted. A section lifted slightly, revealing darkness underneath. A hidden space. My chest tightened so hard I could barely breathe. "This isn't happening," I whispered. But it was. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone, turning on the flashlight. The light cut through the darkness below. And that's when I saw them. Stairs. Narrow wooden stairs leading down. Deep down. Into something I couldn't see. Cold air rose from below. Damp. Heavy. It smelled old. Rotten. Wrong. And then something moved at the bottom of the stairs. I pulled back instantly, my heart racing. "Nope," I said out loud. "No, I'm not doing this. This was insane. I should leave, call the police, call anyone. That's what a normal person would do." But I didn't move because that voice, it didn't feel dangerous. It felt desperate, like someone needed help. I thought it was a mistake, but I was wrong. I took a deep breath, then another, and before I could stop myself, I stepped onto the stairs. Each step creaked loudly. The darkness swallowed the light quickly. The air grew colder with every step, heavier, harder to breathe, and with each step, that feeling grew stronger, that I wasn't supposed to be there. Halfway down, I stopped. I heard something, breathing, slow, uneven, right below me. My chest tightened painfully. "Hello?" I called out. The breathing stopped. Silence. Then a whisper right next to my ear. Too late. I screamed and turned around instantly, but there was no one there. Nothing behind me, just the stairs and darkness. My hands shook as I pointed the light down again, and this time I saw it. At the bottom of the stairs, a figure standing still, watching me, not moving, not speaking, just there. And that's when the light flickered. Once, twice, then went out completely. Darkness swallowed everything, and in that darkness, I heard footsteps, slow, heavy, coming up the stairs toward me. And I realized I wasn't alone down there anymore. I couldn't see anything. Not the stairs, not the walls, not even my own hands in front of my face. The darkness was complete, heavy, almost alive. It pressed against my eyes and made it hard to breathe, but the footsteps, they were real, slow, heavy, deliberate, coming closer. Each step echoed through the narrow staircase, vibrating through the wood beneath my feet. I could feel it in my legs, in my chest, in my bones. My heart was beating so fast it started to hurt. I forced myself not to move. Maybe, if I stayed completely still, it wouldn't notice me. That thought didn't make sense, but fear doesn't need logic. The footsteps stopped. Right below me, so close I could hear something else now. Breathing, deep, uneven, wet. I held my breath without realizing it. Seconds passed, or minutes. I couldn't tell anymore. Time didn't feel real in that darkness. Then suddenly, something touched me. A hand. Cold. Freezing cold. It wrapped around my ankle and squeezed hard. I screamed and kicked instinctively, losing my balance. My foot slipped and I fell backward onto the stairs, hitting my back and shoulder painfully. The hand disappeared instantly, like it had never been there. I scrambled up, shaking uncontrollably, and fumbled with my phone. My fingers barely worked as I turned the flashlight back on. The light flickered, once, twice, then stayed on. I pointed it downward. Nothing. No one. The bottom of the stairs was empty, completely empty. No movement, no shadow, no sign that anything had been there at all. My chest rose and fell rapidly as I tried to breathe. "That's it," I whispered. "I'm done." My voice sounded weak, broken. "I'm leaving." This time I didn't hesitate. I turned and rushed up the stairs as fast as I could. Each step creaked loudly under my weight, threatening to give way. I kept expecting something to grab me again, but nothing did. I reached the top, pulled myself out, and slammed the hidden panel shut. Click. The sound echoed unnaturally through the empty room. Silence followed. I stumbled back, staring at the floor like it might open again at any second. My entire body was shaking. "That wasn't real," I whispered again. "It can't be real." But I could still feel it. That hand. Cold. Tight. Real. I backed out of the room slowly and slammed the door shut. Then I locked it. Even though deep down I knew that wouldn't stop anything. I didn't sleep at all that night. I sat in the living room with every light turned on, staring at the hallway, waiting for something to happen. Anything. But nothing did. No knocking. No voices, no footsteps, just silence. By morning, I almost convinced myself it had all been in my head, almost, until I looked down at my ankle and saw the bruises, clear, dark, finger-shaped. My stomach dropped. That's when I knew. Something was in that house, something real, and it had touched me. My hands were shaking as I grabbed my phone and started searching. The address. The house history, previous owners, anything. At first, everything looked normal. Old sale records, basic documents, nothing unusual. Until I found something. A missing person report, 10 years old. A woman. Same address. Disappeared without a trace. No signs of struggle, no forced entry. She was just gone. Her name was Emily. My chest tightened. I kept reading. Neighbors reported strange noises, scratching, knocking, voices, but nothing was ever proven. The case went cold, and then I found a photo. Blurry, old, but clear enough. And when I looked at her face, my blood ran cold because I recognized her, not from memory, from the voice, and at that exact moment, I heard it again, behind me, from the hallway. Knock, knock, slow, deliberate. I turned slowly. The hallway looked the same, empty, normal, but at the end. The door was open, and I knew for a fact I had locked it. My heart started pounding again. "I should leave," I whispered. But I didn't move, because something inside me needed to know the truth. And that was my biggest mistake, because as I stepped into the hallway, the light suddenly went out all at once. And in the darkness, I heard whispers, not one, many, coming from inside the walls, The whispers surrounded me instantly, soft at first, barely noticeable, like distant voices behind thick walls. But then they grew louder, closer, layered over each other. Dozens of voices speaking at once. I couldn't understand them at first. It sounded like noise, like static, like something broken. My heart started racing faster. "What is this?" I whispered. The whispers continued. Faster now, more desperate, more urgent, and then, slowly, the words became clear. "Help us. Still here. Don't trust." My chest tightened painfully. My breathing became shallow and uneven. This wasn't just one voice anymore. It was many, too many, and they were everywhere, inside the walls, under the floor, above me, surrounding me. I stumbled back, panic rising quickly. "Stop!" I shouted. "Please stop!" But they didn't. The whispers only grew louder, more chaotic, more desperate, like they were trying to say something important all at once, and then they all stopped at the same time. Complete silence. It hit me like a shockwave, heavy, sudden, unnatural. And in that silence, one voice remained, clear, close, right next to my ear. "You opened it." I froze, my entire body locked in place. Slowly, I turned my head. No one was there, but I could feel it. Something standing inches away from me, watching, waiting. "I didn't mean to," I said quickly, my voice shaking. "I didn't know." Silence. Then, "You let them out." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" I whispered. No answer. Instead, a loud bang came from upstairs, a door slamming shut, hard. The whole house shook. I flinched violently. Then came another sound. Footsteps, running, fast. Across the floor above me, back and forth, like something was searching. My breathing became rapid, uneven. "I'm leaving," I said out loud. I turned and rushed toward the front door. My hands grabbed the handle. I pulled. Nothing. It didn't move. I pulled harder. Still nothing. Like it was locked from the other side. No. No. Panic flooded my chest. Behind me, a floorboard creaked. Slowly. Deliberately. I turned, and my blood ran cold. At the end of the hallway, someone was standing there, a woman, completely still. Her head tilted slightly to the side, her long hair hanging over her face, covering it, hiding it. My breath caught in my throat. "Emily," I whispered without thinking. The figure didn't respond, didn't move. But then her head twitched, sharp, unnatural, and slowly. She lifted her face. Her eyes were wide, too wide, her skin pale, almost gray, her lips cracked and dry, and when she smiled, it wasn't human. "You heard me," she said softly. Her voice matched the one I heard before. Weak, broken. But now there was something else inside it, something wrong, something twisted. My body refused to move. "You came down," she continued, each word slow, careful. "I tried to leave," I said quickly. "I didn't know." "You never leave," she interrupted. The lights flickered above us. Once, twice. Her body jerked slightly with each flicker, like she wasn't fully stable, like she was glitching. "They didn't let me leave either," she said. For a brief moment, her expression changed. Something human appeared. Pain, fear, desperation, and then it vanished, replaced by something darker. "They're still down there," she whispered. A chill ran through my entire body. "They're hungry." The lights went out again. Complete darkness, and in that darkness, I heard movement. Not one, many, all around me, closing in. And then I felt it, hands, cold, grabbing my arms, my shoulders, my back, pulling me, dragging me, back toward the hallway, back toward the open door, and I realized this time they weren't going to let me go. I tried to fight. I really did. My hands grabbed at the walls, at the floor, at anything I could reach. My nails scraped against the wood, leaving marks as I was dragged backward, but it was useless. There were too many hands, cold, tight, pulling me with unnatural strength. "No, please stop," I screamed. My voice echoed through the house, but no one came. No one could hear me. The hallway felt longer now, much longer, like it was stretching again, like it didn't want me to escape. My back hit the floor hard as they pulled me across it. The air grew colder with every second. I could feel their grip tightening, their fingers digging into my skin. Then suddenly, they stopped. Right in front of the open door. Everything went still. The hands loosened, but didn't let go completely. Like they were waiting for something. Slowly, I looked up. Emily was standing in the doorway, watching me. Her head tilted again, but this time, there was something different in her expression. Not just darkness, something else, something broken. "You shouldn't have come," she said quietly. "I didn't know," I whispered. "Please, just let me go." For a moment, she didn't move, didn't speak. Then, "They said the same thing," she replied. My chest tightened. "Who?" I asked. She slowly raised her hand and pointed down. "To them." The floor beneath me suddenly shifted. The hidden door opened again with a loud crack, and the hands, they pulled harder, dragging me toward the stairs. "No!" I screamed, grabbing the edge of the floor. My fingers slipped. The wood felt wet, cold, like something had been there for a long time. "I don't want to go down there," I cried. Emily stepped closer. For the first time, she looked directly into my eyes, and I saw it. Tears running down her pale face. "I didn't want to either," she whispered. Something inside me broke. "Then help me," I begged. "Please." The hands pulled again, stronger this time. My body slid forward. Half of me was already over the opening. The darkness below felt deeper now, endless. And then, Emily moved, fast. She grabbed my arm. Her hand was cold, but different, not like the others. She pulled me back slightly. The hands resisted, pulling harder. A silent struggle between her and whatever was below. "You have to listen," she said quickly. "This is the only way." "What do you mean?" I cried. Her grip tightened. "They don't let anyone leave," she said. "Not really." My heart dropped. "What?" "You can run," she continued. "You can hide, but they stay with you." The whispers started again, louder, closer. "You heard them," she said. "They're everywhere." I shook my head. "No, there has to be a way out." "There is," she said. For a second, hope filled my chest. "What is it?" I asked desperately. She looked at me, really looked at me, and then she said something that made my blood run cold. "You take someone else's place." My mind went blank. "What?" The hands pulled again, harder. I screamed as my body slid closer to the opening. "That's how it works," she said. "That's how I stayed." My chest tightened painfully. No, I'm not doing that." "You don't have a choice," she said, her voice breaking. "Yes, I do," I shouted. But even as I said it, I felt the truth. The hands, the whispers, the darkness, they weren't going to stop. Emily's grip started to weaken. "They're stronger now," she said, "because you opened it." Tears filled my eyes. "I don't want to die," I whispered. "You won't," she said. That made it worse. "You'll stay," she added softly. The hands pulled again. And this time, I lost my grip. I started to fall, but at the last second, I grabbed her wrist, hard. She gasped, our eyes locked, and in that moment, I understood everything. And so did she. "No," she whispered. But it was too late, because I made my choice, and what I did next changed everything. I held onto her as tightly as I could. My fingers dug into her wrist, desperate, shaking, refusing to let go. "I'm sorry," I whispered, and for a second, I truly meant it, but fear was stronger than guilt, stronger than anything, and then I pulled hard. Emily screamed as her body jerked forward violently. Her feet slipped against the floor as the force from below dragged her closer to the opening. "No, wait, please," she cried, her voice breaking into panic, but I didn't stop. I couldn't. If I let go, it would be me. The hands below reacted instantly. Dozens of them, maybe more. They grabbed her arms, her legs, her clothes, pulling, tearing, dragging her down. Her grip on me tightened painfully. For a second, I thought she might pull me with her. Our eyes locked, and in that moment, everything froze. Fear, regret, understanding. "You'll hear them too," she whispered. Then her fingers slipped, and she was gone. The darkness swallowed her completely. The hands vanished with her, and just like that, everything stopped. No whispers, no movement, no sound, only silence, heavy, deep, unreal. I collapsed onto the floor, gasping for air like I'd been drowning. My chest burned, my body shook uncontrollably, my mind refused to accept what had just happened. "What did I do?" I whispered. The opening beneath me slowly began to close. Wood scraping against wood, slow, deliberate, until click, sealed, like it had never been opened, like nothing had ever been there. I stayed on the floor for a long time, minutes, maybe hours. Time didn't matter anymore. I didn't move. I didn't think. I just stared into nothing. Eventually, I forced myself to sit up. My body felt chujum, heavy, wrong, like I had left something behind down there, or maybe brought something back. I stood slowly. My legs trembled under me. I looked around. The hallway was normal again. No door, no shadows, no sign of anything strange, just empty space, like the house had erased everything. I walked forward carefully, step by step, half expecting the floor to open again, but it didn't. I reached the front door. My hand hovered over the handle. For a moment I hesitated, then I turned it. This time, it opened, easily, like nothing had ever stopped it before. Fresh air hit my face instantly, warm, soft, real. I stepped outside and collapsed onto the ground, breathing deeply, desperately, like I had escaped something that should have killed me. "I'm free," I whispered. "I'm finally free." But even as I said it, something didn't feel right. Days passed, then weeks. I never went back into that house, not even once. I sold it quickly, far below its value. I didn't care. I just wanted it gone, out of my life, out of my mind. I moved to another city, a small apartment, 3rd floor, no basement, no strange hallways, no hidden doors. I told myself it was over, and for a while, it was. No sounds, no voices, no shadows, no fear. I started to sleep again, to breathe again, to feel normal again. I almost believed I'd escaped. Almost. Until one night, I woke up suddenly. My eyes snapped open. My heart was racing, that same feeling. Cold, heavy, wrong. The air felt thick, like it didn't belong, and then I heard it, a soft sound. From inside my apartment, knock, knock. My blood turned to ice. Slowly, very slowly. I turned my head toward the wall beside my bed. Silence. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a whisper right behind me. "Close, too close. You didn't leave." Tears filled my eyes instantly. My body went cold. "No," I whispered. But deep down, I already knew. It was never about the house. It was never about the room. It was about what was inside it. And now, it was with me. The knocking started again. Louder, closer, from inside the walls, from inside the floor, from inside everything. And as I sat there, frozen in the dark, I realized the truth. I hadn't escaped anything. I had just replaced someone. And what I did next changed everything. And whatever was down there was never going to let me go.